Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Hari Om Hari Om Narayana. Hari Om Narayana. Dear Divine Selves, what is the secret of success? And what is the secret of greatness? What is the greatness of all glory? These questions appear to be three different questions, but as a Vedanta philosopher, I see these three questions as a single question, and this is the most fundamental question in the analysis of the human history. If anything that has to be learned, to be mastered, to be understood, to be taught, it's this secret, if at all there is some secret. If there is no secret of success, greatness, or glory, then we can't teach or learn it. It may be a heresy, it may be a propaganda of the business schools, business academies. But if you go deeper in human psychology, and Vedanta is a super psychology, the entire Western psychology pales into insignificance in comparison to the depth and width of Vedanta. The entire Western philosophy, as it is taught in the universities and academia, pertains to malignancies, mental ailments. The Western psychology arises with negativity. If something goes wrong with you, the mind, your mind, then it tries to understand it. But the ancient metaphysics, especially Vedanta, goes to the innermost depth of human mind and after analyzing and understanding the full width and depth of the human mind, it lays down very solid, fundamental, eternal, universal principles which govern the human mind, in other way, human behavior. And human mind is the single most important equipment or organ to an ordinary human being. The health, wealth, success, greatness, and glory of yours is nothing but directly proportionate to the wealth, robustness, soundness of your mind. What is mind? There is no mind, according to Vedanta, there is no mind other than the chain of thoughts. The thoughts are the foundation on which the edifice of your life, an ordinary, common human being's life, is built upon. Today, I am talking not in the sense of pure, abstract metaphysics, transcendental philosophy, but I am talking the same transcendental spiritual fundamentals for the common people, for their day-to-day life, as it deals with. The existence is one, life is one, the governing principles, the fundamental principles which govern our lives are the same. Whether you are a saint or a sinner, whether you are a monk or a householder, if you go deeper, you find the success and failure, greatness or meanness of yours is decided and determined by the same fundamental principles. If you go study and understand the fundamental principles of Vedanta philosophy in modern, contemporary, behavioral, practical terms, then it becomes so simple to understand why we are failure if we are, and why we are successful in anything if we are. Why someone, some individual, some society, some corporate, some country is so great, so rich, so powerful, and why some of individuals, households, societies, communities, corporates, countries are so poor, deprived, demeaned. First, I am trying to make the question simpler because the answer is super simpler. But if you don't understand the true significance of the question I am going to address today, you won't understand the depth and significance of the answer. Every moment, on every day since morning to evening, each one of us, every human being is aspiring for success, greatness, glory. Are you not? Ask yourself, am I telling the truth about you and me and every human being? The human being 2000 years ago, the human being 1500 years ago, 500 years ago, 100 years ago, and the human being today. This is the most fundamental quest of all human beings, to succeed, to become great, to become glorious. It's another matter that every human being, every country, culture, society has its own separate sets of parameters upon which each it decides or defines the greatness or success. That's up to you. Whether you are a scientist or an intellectual or a student, whether you are a statesman or a bureaucrat or a technocrat or entrepreneur or a business tycoon or an actor or a writer or even a saint, a spiritual seeker, the secret of the greatness and success is one. The entire Vedanta philosophy is shouting from the rooftop that supreme secret of great success, supreme greatness. From the rooftop it has been shouting from thousands of years. Every single word of the Upanishads, every single verse of the Bhagavad Gita, every single commentary on the 500 sutras of Brahma Sutra is shouting from the rooftop just one fundamental principle of success, greatness and glory of the individuals, of the societies, of the corporates, of the countries. The principle is one. The tragedy is the deluded humanity, confused and clouded human intellect doesn't understand that supreme secret, even if it is written so clearly. But due to some long gap in the time when those principles were written down, and it has been a long time, the metaphor, the words, the language, everything has changed. So we are unable to understand the real import of those verses, those statements, those teachings. So we end up getting confused, remain pauperized, always remaining in begging mode. Today I am going to reveal the supreme secrets of the Vedanta, the greatest truth, most valuable truth, which thousands of universities across the world, thousands of academia, millions of consultants, intellectuals pretend to teach you either through formal university curriculum or through the books or through their seminars or their motivational speeches. The principle is so crystal clear. The eternal universal law of supreme success and ultimate greatness is one, non-changing, constant, but slightly difficult to understand, not because of its being so abstruse, but due to our narrow-mindedness, the bluntness of the intellect, narrowness of our minds, we tend to forget the most subtle, real, the kernel of that teaching, the heart and soul of that teaching. So, my dear divine friends, today I am here going to reveal you in very simple words that secret of success. If you want your child to become successful in whatever endeavor he or she wants to move into, if you want your family, your society, your community, or even the corporate, or your entire country, or the entire human race, that same principle applies, that same cosmic law is the final arbiter of human destiny, which makes some succeed, some failure. Some become great, some end up getting demeaned. Whatever I am going to tell you today is not a matter of faith, but it's a matter of personal experiment. If you are really interested in greatness, in success and glory, if you want to enjoy, if you want to attain, achieve that grand success in your life, the great glory, and that has to be defined by you. My set of definition of greatness and success can't be yours, and yours can't be mine. You define, you decide what kind of greatness you want to achieve, what success in which field of life you want to succeed. That's your free choice. Whatever you wish to do, the principle will be the same. What is that principle? I am going to reveal you not a myth, not a suggestion, not an opinion, not a faith, not an ideology, but the most fundamental, cosmic, universal, eternal law of existence. What is that law? The most fundamental law of the universe that needs to be understood, which will become the substratum, that is the foundation for your entire success, glory and greatness, is this. If you watch carefully around yourself in the world of the nature, the basic 5 elements, the space, infinite space, vast sky, the sun, the entire water bodies, air, earth, and the multiplicity of existence on the earth, the plant life, the animal kingdom, the human race. If you go deeply, you realize that every atom of the universe is working unconditionally. Whether it's a sky, whether it's sun or moon or the stars or rivers or oceans or air or earth or plant life, all of them are behaving, acting, working as per their nature, as per their dharma. Dharma is their personal, individual property, genetic makeup. And what is the most fundamental genetic makeup of the universe? That most fundamental genetic makeup of the universe is the impulse, the instincts to give. Give unconditionally. In other words, do without any work, act and do without any expectation or hope of any return for that particular act, work or deed. If the moon is shining and emitting that light and energy which enables this entire planetary life system, what is the expectation on the part of the sun? If the air is enabling your life, think about currently for last 1 week I am in the capital of India, that is New Delhi. I am suffocating for fresh air. I am just feeling like running back to Rishikesh. But I realize the value of this air only when the human civilization, through the so-called development and commercialization and urbanization, choked the basic natural assets and properties which enabled and made our life running. What was I paying for the air? What have you in your life paid to the nature for the oxygen it was providing? How much of dollars and rupees have you ever paid to the sun for the light and heat it is emitting? Will the entire GDP of the entire universe be able to return back the one day sun shines bill to sun? Think it about. You have never thought it about. The oceans and rivers, the amount of water that they give and make the herbs, the plants, the animal kingdom, the human life possible, what have we paid back to oceans and rivers? What have you paid back to earth for the entire nutrition Mother Earth has been providing to you and me? Nothing, nothing. Every basic fundamental element of the nature is giving, loving, serving all around without any discrimination, unconditionally. And that is the secret of their greatness. The astronomist will tell you, astrophysicist will tell you, you talk to a student of astrophysics, he will tell you that if the sun disappears, the entire life from the planetary system will disappear within 8 months. The entire world will, in simple terms, will come to destruction. We can't exist. But that great miracle has become possible simply because sun's greatness, the greatness in the sense sun is behaving as per its own properties, qualities, instincts. That is to give unconditionally, to serve unconditionally, to love unconditionally everyone, whosoever, wheresoever, sun thinks that it can. Have you ever found that somebody, a Dalit or a downtrodden, or the so-called the feminist discourses telling, no, the sun is not shedding light on women. The sun is treating us as untouchable, we are Dalits. No, sun is not emitting light on we the poor people. No, you have never complained it. Sun is always neutral. Sun is always unconditionally loving you, serving you, helping you. The entire energy of sun, and sun is just one of the elements, one existence in the cosmos. I am taking for example, it applies to all the other elements, whether it's the earth, the water, the oceans, air, plant kingdom. Each one of them is working unconditionally. No expectation of any return in lieu thereof. That is the secret of their greatness, the miracle that sun has made possible in the cosmos, that the sun is able to illumine this vast universe and made life possible, because sun is ever busy. Sun, essentially, if you are a student of geography, you know, sun never sets. Sun is shedding light at this moment in certain part of the world, in certain countries, at another time in another parts. So sun is ever busy. Every single moment sun is ever busy, ever thinking how to help others, how to love others, what to do for others, how to help others. That is the secret of the greatness of sun. The same is the secret of greatness of the mighty oceans, the invisible mighty air, the infinite vast cosmic space. Space has never asked or sent notice to any government, oh, why you are sending satellite on me, why you are flying plane. Anything you build, the buildings or every existence exists in space. Has ever space objected? Space is ever ready to accommodate. It's ever ready to serve others, to provide space for you, me. I am at the moment speaking, sitting in a space in New Delhi. This particular space, who has provided space? One of the 5 elements of the universe. Water, plant life, earth, everyone is being guided, governed truthfully with the same cosmic fundamental principle of cosmos. That is, to love unconditionally, to give unconditionally, to work tirelessly in order to help others. That is what is called by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Yagyarth Karma. Yagyarthat karmado yantra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. This is the secret of success. The Lord Krishna has given the secret of success, grandeur, glory, eternity, supreme bliss. Everything is governed by this principle alone. If your child, it doesn't matter whether you are a believer or an agnostic or an atheist, whether you are a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian or a Jewish or a Parsi or a Buddhist or a Jain or a Sikh, it's immaterial. This is the principle which applies without any exception. It was the principle of the ancient times, it is the principle of today. It remains and it will remain the principle for eternity, the principle of success, principle of greatness and glory. Let me dissect it, simplify it in rational terms for you so that you understand it. It is not a philosophy, it's not a spirituality. It is happening every moment within you, with you, around you, in your family, in between the husband and wife's relationship, in the relationship of parents and children, in the relationship between neighbors, in the relationship between the buyer and purchaser, ruler and ruled, lover and beloved, donor and receiver. Everywhere this principle applies without exception. Let's understand it in our day-to-day practical life. I am asking a question. Don't believe in anything that I am saying. What I am saying, you try to experiment, investigate on yourself, on the factual, empirical, real, practical ground of life. Repeat, don't believe a single word of mine unless and until it's proven true on the basis of honest, authentic, intelligent, empirical evidence gathered through your personal practical experience in day-to-day life of all the relationships, behavioral patterns, the emotional, mental instincts and impulses of yours. You don't believe in me, you don't believe in the gods, it's absolutely fine. You don't believe in the great people, the saints or philosophers. You don't need to. But do you believe in yourself or not? Answer this question to me. Do you believe in your existence? Do you believe in your life? Are you working to make your life functional, successful? Are you not seeking love, bliss, happiness, success, glory, and greatness in your life? Ask this question. Each one of us is seeking that greatness, that glory. But why? Who is seeking? It doesn't matter whether you believe in any God or not, whether you believe in any scripture or not, but you tell me whether you are hankering after success, security, eternity, love, bliss and beauty, success and greatness or not. Whether you are a Marxist or a secular or a communal, believer or agnostic or atheist, it doesn't matter. Each one of us believes in ourselves. If you believe in yourself, then the principles I am enunciating here, which are the principles of Vedanta philosophy, but I have done experiment for last 35 years on these principles. I am not interpreting, I am not translating, I am not preaching those principles, I am revealing the secret of my own experimentation, empirical, practical, direct, immediate, personal experiment on that principle. And I declare from the rooftop that if you understand that principle, not because I am saying, experiment for yourself and then act upon that fundamental law, no one can stop you from being great, from being supremely successful, from being infinite ocean of love, bliss and beauty. They all will be at your command. What was that principle? The principle was, I've already told you, but I will simplify in layman's term, practical, social, broken language, because language is a very strange thing. That is the reason why Buddha didn't teach in Sanskrit. His entire teaching of Buddha is in the language of the time. So I will, for the sake of making you understand what I am trying to suggest, I will speak and use the terms which might not appear spiritual. What I am trying to suggest, that if you want to become great yourself, or you want your child to become great, successful, glorious, and lead a blissful, beautiful, loving life, teach this principle, instruct this principle from childhood, sow the seeds of this fundamental law, behavioral law, which entire cosmos is every moment without exception being governed by. The moment you violate, you go against this law, you fail, you break down, you are miserable, you lose the empire of bliss, beauty and love. The greatness is inherent in you as long as you understand this fundamental law of cosmic governance, the law of giving unconditionally, loving unconditionally, doing service to others, whosoever may be, conscious, inert, it doesn't matter. Believer or agnostic, good, bad, sinner or saint, it doesn't matter. My job, as per the cosmic law of governance, is to be engaged in every moment in thinking and acting upon that thought, that how can I serve others? What can I do for others? How can I truly manifest my love for the others? How can I help others? The horizon of others will be defined by your own personal individual capacity. The personal commercial relationship horizon must be transcended. So, the entire root of sorrow, suffering, failure, frustration and misery in human life is only on account of one factor. Wherever, whenever and whosoever breaks this cosmic law of unconditional love, unconditional service to others, that is called yajna in Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna, I said, because when you begin to work with a motive, with an expectation, a hope for some return in lieu of the work, then alone you become attached, attachment is a very hugely significant word which normally people don't understand. Attachment means the forces which make you finite, miserable, momentary, narrow. The great becomes diminished. And those elements, those forces, those factors which liberate you, liberate from all finiteness, momentariness, they are liberating forces. The moment you start teaching your children this just one lesson, no two lesson, no two, the entire human race and the entire world become a living heaven right now, right here. If we understand this principle, it's not a myth, it's not a religious belief, it's the supreme science of cosmic governance. If each one of us begins to think every moment, what can I do for others? How can I serve others? How can I love others? You yet don't understand. It requires at least a week of detailed exposition, but I am trying to introduce this theme to you because there is nothing more important than this, because each one of us is seeking success, glory, greatness, love, bliss and beauty. So, understanding this fundamental principle of that greatness, what else is more important than this? So, what happens? Let me tell you why I am saying that it is not a matter of faith. How does it work? Suppose you have two children. To one child you begin to teach, and teaching is not necessarily verbal, not through words. By your actions, by your own behavior also you teach. Your silent teaching is much more powerful. The way you behave, the children will behave, the neighbors will behave. So what I mean, but one family or one community or one country, let's take it at the level of country even, or in which, so one person has been trained from the childhood to think every moment as to what can I do for others, how can I serve others, in what way I can love others. And the other person or family or community or a country is built up on the philosophy of the reverse principle. Oh, what I can derive from others. How can others serve me? How others are going to be beneficial to me? How other people are going to give me donation? How other people are going to become source of my personal aggrandizement and richness? How other human beings are going to become instrument of my fulfillment of sensual pleasures? Every moment I am centered in the small ego-based narrow self, ego-based identity, which is the root of all diminish, failure, frustration, negativity, hatred, jealousy, sorrow and suffering. If a child is reared, nurtured on the belief and always thinking, how can I exploit others? How others should serve me? How others should love me? How others should serve me? How others should help me? The person or the family or the country or culture which is reared and nurtured on this principle is bound to disaster and destruction, even though temporarily, momentarily, it may appear that person is getting some instant success by robbing, exploiting, cheating, lying. Someone, you might find some examples in human history. Some people might momentarily become overnight rich, but that is not going to last. What is going to last and become enduring and ultimately become the greatest foundation of success, glory, is that thought within you, and you are nothing but a bundle of thoughts. I began by saying that the mind, your mind is what makes you successful and failure, great or demeaned. So the mind is nothing but a bundle of thoughts. The thoughts which you have been nurtured on, made to believe that how can I love others, how I can serve others, what can I do for others, creates, in fact, explode the infinity that is already within you. You are nothing but a bundle of beliefs and manifestation of that beliefs alone. If you, why do you and why would you think that why should I and how should I serve others? How should I work for others? How I help others? Do you know, have you ever done it? Just do it. Do for just 1 week. If it doesn't revolutionize your life, chop off my head. I challenge anyone on the planet. For 1 week just, and it's better to do this experiment on children, small children. Begin because they are impressionable. They are ready to get whatever you give. It works everywhere, even if you are 60 years, 50 years, or even 80 years old. If honestly you begin to practice, it is bound to work miracles on you. But what I am saying, it will create miracle within nights on young impressionable minds, young boys and girls. If you honestly, authentically, convincingly, by your own personal example, not just teaching by pedagogy, just words, but your behavior, if you begin to live even for a week or a month, a life where you are obsessed with serving others without any expectation of return, loving unconditionally everyone without any discrimination, no discrimination whether the person belongs to my religion, my caste, my family, my country. No, everyone is an object of love, reverence and service for me, because the entire world is nothing but manifestation of yourself, self, the eternal self, the Atman. How does this principle work? Let me dissect it further. The sense of duality is the most fundamental delusion, the root of all ignorance. The seers and sages and the enlightened masters suggest you to serve and love unconditionally simply because there is no other in the cosmos. You and you alone manifest as the other, the external universe. It's a matter of fact. J. Krishnamurti repeatedly uses this term, it's a matter of fact. He doesn't say on the basis of any scriptural injunction, he says that you experiment for yourself. It's a matter of personal experimentation and factual, empirical truth. If you begin to think in a selfless manner, if you begin to work, think, speak unconditionally. The miracle happens not because I am saying. You will have to experiment for yourself. Howsoever beautiful pictures of beautiful lover or beloved you may see or watch or listen, but the love between the lover and beloved, unless it is experimented, actually no amount of literature about the love can make you understand what the love is. Similarly, the miracle of that unconditional love manifesting as how I can help others. How can I help others? How can I serve others? This is the manifestation of the unconditional love. It is not a word, a verbal expression, but it cannot happen unless and until you have a deep and profound love for others. Because there is no others, you alone, you the self, the non-dual self alone has manifested as the entire world of duality. I alone am all around. There is none other than me. If somebody is crying in pain, writhing, somebody is hungry, somebody is being exploited, in fact, I myself is being exploited, I myself is being robbed or hurt or hunted down. If you look deeply, if you connect yourself, the atomized, alienated, narrow ego-based self alone has made you think that you and the others, I am me and the other person, the neighbor, the person who is from other community or culture or religion or country. There is no other. You alone manifest as the entire universe. You, the pure consciousness. Your true identity is pure consciousness, but you cannot realize it unless and until you break free from the barrier of ego-based self. So how that revolution happens? The moment you begin to think, how can I serve others? How can I help others? The ego gets destroyed. The wall which has bound you, enchained you, is shattered. That which had become or assumed or been made to believe in ephemeral, confined condition, body based identity has now transcended that finiteness, the mortality, ephemerality, and thereby you become an infinite ocean of energy, vast space of light you become. That enables you to become so powerful right here in this blood and flesh, in this body of blood, bones and flesh. Because you identify yourself with the entire cosmos, so you become the cosmos. In other words, you become the Lord of the Lords, the Emperor of the Emperors. The only barrier and the only hindrance which had created a sense of beggary, a sense of finiteness and helplessness, which was leading to failure, frustration and dimness within you, gets fractured, shattered, torn apart. The moment you begin the journey of this thought process that how can I help others? How can I serve others? But thought process it begins, but it manifests in the action, in the words, in the thoughts. Honestly, integrated behavior. And imagine for just one day, the entire world, even one day, the entire world, even for 24 hours, thinks, speaks and acts as per this fundamental cosmic law, even that one day, 24 hours emission of energy will revolutionize this planet. You won't believe it. What are these self-realized or enlightened masters? The self-realization or enlightenment or God realization or liberation is nothing but breaking free from three narrow ego-based identity, whereby you identify yourself with everything, everywhere, for eternity as pure self, and therefore every moment you are eager to help others, but essentially yourself. If the people all around are essentially nothing but my own manifestation, that it is in my enlightened self-interest that I love others, I love everyone, wherever, whosoever, in whatever way it is possible, by serving them unconditionally. It doesn't, mind you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should be the richest person of the world. No, you may be the poorest person of the world, you may be the weakest person of the world in the practical sense, and yet you can begin this journey of impossible, which will lead to miracle. This is the only miracle that is possible in the cosmos. Wherever you have seen miracle, whether the miracle that was done by Lord Krishna or Lord Rama or Buddha or Lord Mahavira or Jesus Christ, all these great masters manifested just one miracle that I am talking about, trying to make you understand. All of them became so great, and the entire energy that was released at that particular point of time was nothing but manifestation as an impact of the implosion of energy, infinite energy. Once you begin to think, take universe, if the child is taught to think constantly, how can I help others? How can I serve others? How can I love others? You cannot believe what happens in the child. The child becomes indomitable power, infinite power, inexhaustible mine of energy. The child who is always afraid of, he said, oh, I can't pass this exam. How can I become this? Oh, I'm afraid of. That child, when he begins that journey on the foundation of serving others, loving others unconditionally, that child would become emperor of emperors, right here in blood, bone and flesh. You see the miracle. Because you have been taught, nurtured on so toxic, polluted, decadent values. How can I earn? How can I exploit? How can I deceive others? You have become miserable, demeaned, frustrated, failure. You are bound to failure. The secret of all success lies in selflessness, selfless service to others, selfless love to others. Thinking, speaking and living for others is the secret of all greatness, and it applies not only to the monks in the Himalayas, it applies to a householder, a wife and husband, a child and an old age person, a businessman, a corporate, a politician, a bureaucrat. But all these people have become demeaned, and all of them feel enchained, despite being the most powerful bureaucrat or a greatly world-renowned politician. He or she is always insecure, always afraid of losing his or her own power. Miserable. that child and that individual who is reared and nurtured on the value of living for others, working for others, thinking for others, he will not be intimidated by the entire power, even the entire might of the universe. The adverse conditions can't intimidate that person. If you want to give birth to a child, each one of you have given birth to some children, or daughter or a son, or 2 or 3. But my sister, my beloved mother, I tell you, believe me, this is the most authentic, practical, direct, actual, factual, fundamental principle of greatness and success. You experiment for yourself. I know how much you love your child. I know how much you love your brother. I know how much you love your near ones and dear ones. You want all of them to become great, but you don't understand the secret of success. You don't understand the secret of greatness, divine self. This holy land of India had experimented for thousands of years and then disclosed this greatest mystery of the cosmos. Each and every verse and every word of every Vedantic text in essence is crying aloud from the rooftop, this truth alone: live unconditionally, think unconditionally, work unconditionally, without any hope of any return, because you alone are manifesting as the entire universe, but as a finite human being, you have come to be enchained due to your own belief. So you are always concerned and preoccupied of nurturing your body, sensual pleasure, your personal pleasure. That is the horizon of your life. You don't have any universe other than your body. That is tamasic vritti, as Lord Krishna, the great exposition in Bhagavad Gita. Understanding your existence or reality or truth conditioned by this body is a recipe of sorrow, suffering, disaster, misery. Transcend this ego-based identity and as a self, the awareness, infinite, vast subject. Everything is happening within me. The entire universe exists within me. The love for others, work for others, service for others is essentially service to myself, love unto myself, help unto myself. I alone everywhere. But my ignorance, deluded mind had made me believe that I am this ephemeral, finite, conditioned body subject to sorrow, suffering, ailment, and death. Once you nurture your child on this value, constantly begin to inculcate authentically by words, by behavior, by each and every action of yours. None can stop your child from becoming the emperor of emperors. That was the secret of Lord Krishna. That was secret of Maryada Purushottam Lord Ram. That was the secret of the greatness of Buddha, Mahavira, Guru Nanak, Jesus Christ. That used to be taught in ancient times in this holy land of India. That used to be these value were deeply inculcated in the children by none other than the mother. My Pujya Gurudev, revered Gurudev, whenever he used to give discourses, his body has now reached 110 years old he is. And yet, whenever he, just till last year, he used to give regular discourses, and in the very first sentence he used to say that mother is the first guru of every child. The first lesson that the mother gives to the child is most important, and the second thing he used to say that the role of a father the role of a mother in comparison to fathers is 10 times higher. Therefore, in Indian culture, the position of mother is 10 times higher than the father. My revered Gurudev, he was not taught this by any feminist, Western bred feminist of Harvard and Oxford. Indian scriptural value system is spread all around. The mother is the first guru, and he used to give the example of Jagat Guru Adi Shankara. Jagat Guru Adi Shankara, Shankara's mother was very well versed in the Puranas. So as a child, as a lullaby, she used to narrate the story of the Puranas to the child Shankara, and by the age of 5, Shankara knew all the Puranas. So my revered Gurudev used to say that the father has the role only of just going and inseminating the wife, and once the wife gets conceived, the bearing the child, and when the child is born, nurturing the child, taking care of the child, but more importantly, inculcating the fundamental values, the fundamental principles which will make the life as the child would like to unfold in the future days. So that used to be inculcated, and that used to be called as Vedic lullaby, Vedic lori. That is there in Markandeya Puran, the story of Mandalasa and her husband Makaradhwaj. Let me recite 2 verses which in ancient times mother used to just after the birth. Today I can't, maybe I'll give few other discourses if I find people interested in, but I find very few of you just, I speak and the people just passive recipients. That is not the way I am going to unfold or relate these great truths. So let me first decide that what is the meaning of that. When the first child was born to Mandalasa, just after the child was born, instantly after the child was born, not 1 hour later, 2 hours later, or 1 day, no, just imagine what would be the mental level of the child. Yet, what the mother is saying, and she did that. Dosha tatsat swarupe ma sanga dosha tatsat swarupe. Oh my child, oh my dear child, you are that infinite. You are beyond any tent, beyond any attachment. Don't get deluded by the illusory appearance of this world. You are free self. You are Shuddhosi Buddhosi. Shuddh, the pure Buddha consciousness. You are the pure self, beyond any tent, beyond any division, non-dual pure self. That is the Brahman. Shuddhosi Buddhosi Niranjanoshi Sansar. This illusory appearance of the world is just a Maya, the product of illusion. This is a slip of the Maya. Wake up, my child from this dream of this world. You are eternal, immortal Brahman. Ma sangadosha tatsvat swarupe. You are beyond all attachment. Sangadosha, attachment. The tent of attachment. You are beyond all attachment. You are pure self. Here is one problem. You might think that used to happen and that the story. So you would say, I don't want my child to become a Brahman. That is a spiritual pursuit. It's fair. If you don't want, I am not teaching you or giving you the secret of becoming Brahman or self-realization. What it is there because that is the highest attainment. Self, you see, this dress, the Gairik Vastra, the ochre robe, is not a symbol of penury, misery, but a clarion call to become all in all, become eternal, immortal, universal, cosmic, after which nothing remains to be achieved, nothing remains to be enjoyed. You become all in all, you attain the greatest success. Brahmavid apnoti param. The one who knows the self attains the supreme, that is the supreme success. But I am not, because you can't understand this, such a lofty philosophy. Even if you want your child to become a great success and lead a glorious life in material terms, the principle applies without any doubt. That was my experiment in 35 years. The life is one undivided, non-dual reality. It is not fragmented reality. In whichever realm of life you are, the principle will help you. The day child begins to think, that's why I'm not saying the philosophy of self-realization or entitlement. I explained that philosophy of Vedanta, Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita in practical for ordinary householders, that how can I help others, how can I serve others, how can I love others. This practical philosophy, if you apply and begin the journey of your child or even your own journey, it doesn't matter when you are 50-year-old, 60-year-old, 70, never is it too late. If you are convinced or don't be convinced, experiment for yourself. You are wasting time watching nonsense gossip, political gossip of televisions, the nasty, crude, uncivilized debates and the TV serials. Experiment this for yourself. You have wasted your life. You are every moment regretting what was the life. Experiment this life. The miracle, this is the miracle of all miracles. No miracle in the human history has been greater and higher than this miracle. The moment you begin to honestly think as to how I can serve others, how can I help others, how can I help others, the biochemical reaction and the mental and intellectual impact it leaves on your inner equipments, on antahkarana, revolutionizes your entire existence. You become a burning inferno of infinite energy. You become inexhaustible mine of energy. You get every day exhausted. You get tired. You become demotivated, dissuaded, only because you are living for this body. The moment you begin to live for others, think for others, how to help others, how to serve others, whether my village, my community, my country, whatsoever may be horizon of your activity, doesn't matter that you have to be all of a sudden help entire universe, but you must transcend your individuality or the family. Then that power to do impossible possible, to make unreal real, begins to manifest. It's ever present within you. The power, that dynamite, that nuclear energy, cosmic nuclear energy is ever present within you. But unless and until you throw a challenge, and the challenge to take care of this body is so petty, so demeaned, so stultifying, ego-based, it doesn't allow you to attain the glory and greatness and success that you are equipped, programmed, and designed for, or you are aspiring even. Knowingly or unknowingly, each one of us is trying for that. But we are confused, we are deluded. The truth is so crystal clear, it's a crying from rooftop. We are unable to understand. The university education, the schooling has become so disfigured, distorted, mutilated, that it teaches everything to you except you and your power. Is there any subject in your school, in your university, which teaches you about you? No. It will teach the history of the rulers, the emperors, the most gory, obnoxious, crude, dehumanizing emperor's story in the history books you are taught. You are taught about the useless statistics and useless information pertaining to the entire universe, but you are not taught about yourself. That is the greatest malady of the present education system, which has made you pygmy, a suffering crow. Break free from this finiteness. My friend, you are privileged, you are programmed, you are entitled for that greatness. That supreme success is your birthright. And the methodology I have told you, it's another matter. To practice on the ground, you need much more elaboration, practical tools. If you feel that it is worth doing, if you invite me anywhere in the world, I am prepared to come and do hands-on practical demonstrations of this, the greatest principle of success, glory and greatness for the individuals, for the communities, for the families, for the countries and cultures and corporates and the entire ages. There is no other theory, there is no other principle, there is no other secret. That is the secret of your personal greatness, personal glory, personal love, bliss and beauty, and the universal success, bliss, beauty, peace and bliss that everyone and all the global institutions, international institutions are built for what? Global peace, which enables you to enjoy, manifest the love, bliss and beauty, the highest qualities that you are capable of. The highest potential in each one of us, that is the highest potential. Harvest the highest potential of yours, and the highest potential of yours is harvested only when you transcend your identity and horizon of life beyond this personal body conditioned ego-based identity and begin to live and think and speak for others, because there is no other, you alone. When you think how I can love others, you are ensuring how love is going to flow, the nectar of love is going to flow and drown you. When you think, speak and work and act for helping others, essentially every act of help of others ends up helping you and you alone, because you alone exist in the entire universe. Whenever you think as to how can I help others, and you begin to help others, your mere effort, your thought, your thinking, even sincerely thinking as to how I can help others, creates so much of energy, power, and self-confidence within you that you become a living dynamo, and every dimension of the universal energy begins to help you. Entire universe helps you. I have experimented before. I have not become a sannyasi from nowhere and nothing. This Sacchidananda was living a public life. Everything that he was doing, everything he was speaking or thinking was in public interest. It used to become the subject of public discourse. All over the global press or the university used to cover and be interested. The parliaments and the assemblies and the public discourse and the news media would give huge publicity, and yet they didn't know what was the secret of the success. It was the secret. Sacchidananda, though I don't want to go in that previous experiment, but I am telling all these things on my personal experience. The entire forces of the country, at least India, were against this one person, and he was standing, challenging, and became victorious. None can challenge, because when you are anchored and governed by truth, the truth lies in serving others, helping others, fighting for others. When you take a resolve to fight for others, to fight against the injustice meted out to others, you become that supreme power that unfolds your supreme energy, whereby you can challenge the mightiest powers of the vast empires. That is the factual history of the world. Those who had the confidence and who challenged and who had the empathy and sympathy and cared for others' dignity, they challenged the powerful people, the rulers, the exploiters. They became victorious. They suffered a lot, but finally the history of the world is the history of these kind of people. They are the real emperor of emperors. And that is the secret of becoming emperor of emperors. That is the secret of becoming the most successful person or a country or a culture or a nation. It's up to you as an individual or as a society or as a country. If you get anchored and begin to govern your life and be governed by this principle of selfless service to others, unconditional love for everyone, thinking, speaking, and working every moment for others, helping others, then you become the supreme power. Nothing remains impossible for you. You become that self-effulgent supreme light which makes impossible possible, unreal real. You become God, verily God, the Brahman. The Brahman is present every moment within you. Brahman is not present somewhere else or somewhere up in the sky. Right now there is nothing but Brahman, the self, the Paramatman alone within you and me. But the question is, and the problem is, that we are made to believe that the God, the supreme, omnipotent, omniscient and omnipresent reality is somewhere else, something else, someone else, not me. And that omnipotent, almighty, omniscient, omnipresent reality is none but you. Other than you, there is no God. If you can't realize the God within you and the people around you, better you stop talking about God. Better stop talking about any religiosity or any spirituality or any seeking. You are a living God, but you have conditioned your powers, your energy, simply by identifying with this false illusory mind-body identity as this one atomized, alienated individual. Break free from this, and the practical methodology to achieve this is think, act, and speak about how to identify with every other, whatsoever in the sense, it's a huge term. How to live for others, speak for others, fight for the protection, promotion, and rights of others, how to love others, how to serve others, how to serve the oppressed, how to help the most deprived communities, how to be of some help to underprivileged communities, societies, or individuals. The moment you take a resolve to do that, you become an inexhaustible power of energy, and that ensures that you achieve whatever you set your target on. That is the secret of success. That is the secret of greatness, and that is the supreme secret of and super science of and super psychology of all the glory in life, all the love, beauty, and bliss that you have been seeking in your life becomes possible, accessible to you once you understand and act upon that principle. Let me hope and wish that each one of you begin the journey, at least begin to think in the terms of making the life meaningful by becoming successful in the true sense of the term, in a meaningful, positive, powerful way, becoming fearless, indomitable, light unto yourself. The moment you begin to think in terms of helping others, loving others, working for others, you become light unto yourself, you become God unto yourself, you become truth unto yourself, you become the universe unto yourself. That is the supreme secret. That is the supreme secret of greatest success, supreme greatness, and ultimate glory. Let that success, greatness, and glory become real in your life. That's my hope and pray. Om Asado Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormayamritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om.